So you should have all received an email from me last night telling you basically with a record of everything you've turned in and had graded so far, and then with a basically what you need to score on the final exam. So if it says you need to get a 65% on the final to pass the class with a C, you need to get a 65% on the final to pass the class with a C. So that means if you get 63%, that's not 65, and that means you get a D, okay? So that's what it says. The final exam will look very similar to basically the quiz that you took last week or the practice final. I think the practice final and the quiz look similar. Basically, there's a paragraph explaining the situation and then questions related to it. So things like that. Okay? No office hours next week. I learned that lesson. My first quarter teaching when it was like nobody came to office hours, and then the day of the final it was like chaos. So no office hours next week. I mean I did technically, but it's okay. Not too much happened. We have a question. Yes.
Will you put the grades as A minus, A plus, and that, or is it just the letter without?
It goes with the pluses and the minuses. So I don't know if that matters or what, but yeah.
So if you're transferring, like, let's say an A minus to a school that only has A, B, C, D, and F, it's just going to be the letter.
I have no idea. I have
It's
no
just
idea.
Going to be the letter.
Okay? All I know is the grade book that I enter grades, it's got pluses and minuses and whatevers, and so I enter pluses and minuses. If they're transferring to another school that doesn't have pluses or minuses, I have no idea what happens. Okay? I imagine they just ignore the pluses and minuses. That's what I imagine. But I don't know. So, is that it? Okay.
Can I have mine with
yeah, so I think at UCLA, an A and A plus are worth a 4.0. A minus is like a 3.7, and a B plus is a 3.3, and a B is a 3.0. I think that's how it works at UCLA. But okay, so today I'm going to go through the practice final exam. This practice final is longer than the actual final. The actual final only has 50 questions. The practice final has like, I don't know, 60 or something. But we'll get through the entire practice final today, and or we should, I think. We'll go from there. I will post. I'll post an answer key online later. I made a couple changes, so I have to just update the answer key with those changes.
Professor?
Yes.
When you put the answers, are you going to show also how to do it, or just the answers?
It'll be mostly just the answers. I mean, a few formulas in there, and just very brief explanations.
Okay.
But
will they be videos or just like writing?
It'll just be writing.
Okay.
I mean, so no, I guess you'll have a video of today. All right.
Oh, okay.
So you can watch all of today's lecture online. All right. And I think the best way to study is work through the practice final, okay? But and then after that, see if you can make up your own problems, okay? I mean, all of these problems in the practice final, they follow a very similar pattern, okay? And it's just like, here's a situation. Maybe we had one sample or we had two samples. This is what we observed in the sample, okay? See if you could write your own problem. And when you write your own problem, you'll become aware of what quantities you need to pay attention to. When you write your own problem, you'll know, oh, this is an n. This is what the n looks like. This is what the standard deviation, or this is what the mean will say, okay? And then see if you can write the little sub-questions. what is the test statistic, what's the p-value, things like that, what's the conclusion. See if you can write your own problems and then answer them, okay? Actually, maybe we'll, so I normally don't do bonus extra credit assignments, but maybe we'll say that's a bonus extra credit, small opportunity for, okay, it'll just be very small, like 5 points towards your homework, right? So your homeworks are worth 10 points each week, so if you do this last assignment, it'll be just a free 5 points for your homework, okay? And it will be, write, I'll say write 2 problems, I guess 2 sample questions, okay? So and when I say 2 questions, not just, so I guess like write when I say problem, it's like 5 questions really, okay? So maybe a total of 10 questions, okay? But it basically, 1 paragraph explaining, here's a scenario, and things. I'll post some details online, just so I can get specific things. Okay, so it'll be like, so like in the practice final, it says at the ruler and yardstick factory, a machine is suspect. Okay, so make up a scenario. Okay, I don't want to see at the ruler and yardstick factory something or whatever. Don't use the same examples that I have. Okay, make up your own.
It could be any from any chapter.
Not from any. Well, I mean, make it look like something like this. Okay. Write up a problem and break down the questions into, you know, make a hypothesis test or make a confidence interval or something, okay? And I think when you write your own questions, it really helps in the learning, okay?
Do you want us to answer them too?
Yeah, okay. And then we'll say, and if you can type them, okay? Type the things, all right? The answers you can handwrite, okay? The answers you can handwrite because it'll be tough to do all the square root stuff and things like that. So the answers can be handwritten, but type out the problem and questions, okay? I'll post some details. That'll be your extra credit assignment. And I think that one will actually be useful towards your studying. I'm not a fan of watch a movie and get extra credit or something, you know, something that's just
How many points is the extra credit?
five homework points. So your homework each week is 10, so this will be like okay. And I feel okay assigning that because I think it will be useful towards your studying rather than take away from your time studying. Okay. But we'll see. Maybe it turns out to be a complete disaster, and this will be the only quarter right off of this. All right, so let's go through. Okay, you guys all have a copy of the. I hope you guys do. If you don't have a copy of the practice final, sit next to someone who does, so you can follow along. Okay. Okay. So questions 1 through 4 were, you know, here's the situation and tell me which condition or assumption is violated, okay? So the answer to, I don't know if you guys have the answers prepared already, okay? But so number 1 says, a study is performed to understand the relationship between bright lights and headaches. 80 randomly selected subjects are exposed to bright lights and 20 complain that they experience headaches. 90 randomly selected subjects are exposed to less bright lights and 12 complain about headaches. Are any conditions violated? The answer is no. No conditions are violated. Okay. So it doesn't say. It says everything is randomly selected, so that our condition A is met. The large samples are met because when we check how many experience headaches and don't, those numbers are over 10, and if 20 have headaches, that means 60 don't have headaches. And that number is also over 10. And then same with the 90-12. So 12 have headaches, which means 78 don't have headaches. Both of those numbers are 10, bigger than 10. Okay. As for big population, it doesn't specify the population, but here this is just assuming anybody who's going to look at lights, which is probably more in the thousands. Okay, so I think we have to worry about the big population being violated. So the answer to number 1 is D. D as in dog. Delta. Okay. Researcher number 2. A researcher wants to make a confidence interval for how common a certain disease is. He finds 300 randomly selected subjects and finds 2% of them have the disease. Are any conditions violated? Okay. So random is met. Okay. But if you look at the size of the sample, it says 300 people are selected and 2% have the disease. So 2% times 300, your n times p is only going to be 6. So 2% is 0.02 times 300 gives you 6. 6 is less than 10, so large sample is violated. C as in cat, violated number 2. Okay. If there's any questions on anything, raise your hand and ask me. Okay, this is the time to ask questions. All right, not next week. All right. Number 3, a student has to conduct a survey for a school project. He goes around the school campus and interviews people he meets. He finds data from 100 people and finds that 45 of them answered yes to his questions. Any conditions violated?
Yes.
Yeah, the independent randomization one violated. Okay. And a company wants to survey its employees. It has 800 employees. It decides to select 100 of them randomly and interviews each of them. Any conditions violated? B. B as in boy, big population. Okay, so if it has only 800 employees, then their sample shouldn't have more than 80. Okay, otherwise it's no longer a random thing. They're better off doing like a census where they survey everyone. Okay, but for random sampling, less than 10%.
Wait, I don't understand. Why isn't it a big population?
So your sample size is 100. Okay, do you see that it says it selects 100?
And it has to be 10
employees
times
randomly?
larger?
And yeah, the population needs to be at least 10 times bigger, okay? So 10 times 100 is 1,000, so it means the company should have at least 1,000 employees if they're going to sample 100 people.
Thank you.
Okay? Alright. Maybe for this video, I'll pause and break it up by section. Where is
The remote.
my remote control?
Checking the cushions.
Here it is. Okay. So we'll pause here. So that will be section 1.